Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're doing a deep dive into someone named Chacha, and we've got a lot to work with.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
got notes, we've got excerpts, a full biography, even a timeline.
Wow, so a real deep dive, huh?
Absolutely, we're not just skimming the surface here. We're really going to try to get a full picture.
I like it. And what's the story? What are we looking at with Cha-Cha's life?
Well, the overall arc is really fascinating because you see this kind of contrast, you know?
Yeah.
She starts out with this really idyllic early childhood,
Uh-huh.
but then she faces all these hardships.
Yeah.
But ultimately, she has this really remarkable success later in life.
Interesting. So it's a real, like, down and then back up kind of story.
Exactly. And I think that journey, that's what makes this particular deep dive so compelling.
Yeah, I can see that.
So let's start at the beginning, the early childhood. You know, the sources paint this picture of this perfect family.
Okay.
You know, her father is described as strong and hardworking. Her mother is kind and nurturing, and she's surrounded by all these loving older siblings.
Sounds like a great start.
It does. It really does. And it kind of makes what happens next all the more tragic.
Oh, no. What happens?
Well, when she's only 3 months old, her father dies unexpectedly.
Oh, wow.
And that leaves her mother, you know, alone to raise 3 children.
That's a lot to deal with. I mean,
It is.
especially after losing, your partner like that.
Absolutely. And the sources really emphasize her mother's strength, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in the face of this tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
She still manages to create this loving and supportive environment for her kids.
That's amazing.
It is. It really is. But unfortunately, this period of stability, you know, it doesn't last.
Oh.
When Chacha is 9, her mother falls ill,
Oh, gosh.
and she passes away within just a few months.
Wow. So 9 years old, she loses both parents.
Yeah, it's hard to even imagine, you know,
It is.
losing both parents at such a young age.
Yeah.
And of course, now she's forced to move to a completely different town to live with her Aunt Mary.
Okay, well, at least she's with family, so that's got to be.
You would think, right?
Yeah, you would think.
You would think that moving in with family would offer her some solace.
Right.
But that's really not what happens.
Really?
Yeah, the sources paint a very different picture.
Hmm.
Instead of finding comfort, she encounters this emotional abuse and neglect.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah, it's
awful.
it's really sad. She's treated like a burden. She's constantly criticized.
Anish.
They give her this tiny little room in the back of the house.
It's like they're trying to push her away or
It's
something.
almost like she's being deliberately marginalized,
Yeah?
you know, within the family structure.
Yeah, like she doesn't even belong there.
Exactly. And the sources also talk about how she's forced to do most of the housework,
Right.
while Aunt Mary's own kids, you know, they just get to enjoy themselves.
Wow. So she's really being treated like a servant.
Almost like a servant. Yeah, not a loved one.
That's so sad.
And it gets worse.
Oh, no.
Her cousins even join in on this mistreatment.
Seriously. What do they do?
They mock her. They belittle her academic achievements.
You've got to be kidding me. She's
Yeah.
excelling in school despite everything, and they're making fun of her.
I know, it's just,
That's awful.
it's really cruel, and it just speaks to, you know, the depth of the emotional abuse.
It really does. Like, it just adds insult to injury.
Exactly. But there's this glimmer of hope, you know, even in all of this.
Okay.
Chacha, she shows this incredible resilience.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's clinging to her intelligence as this lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of leads us to this pivotal moment in her story.
Okay.
So she's 15. She's just finished this really tough exam, and she's walking home feeling really defeated.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, and she passes this park, and it's filled with all these kids playing and laughing.
Okay.
And this seemingly simple observation, it becomes a turning point for her.
Really? Just seeing kids playing, how does that...
It's fascinating, isn't it, how such an ordinary scene
Yeah,
can spark such a profound shift.
it is. So what do you think happened in that moment for her?
Well, the sources suggest that seeing those carefree children, it kind of awakened this longing in her
Wow, okay.
for her own joy, her own life.
So it's like she suddenly realized she deserved more.
Exactly. It's like this shift from feeling powerless to this sense of agency.
Like she could actually change things.
Yeah, exactly. Like she realized she has the power to choose a different path for herself.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is. And that newfound determination, it leads her to Mr. Edwards.
Who's Mr. Edwards?
He's a teacher who becomes her mentor.
Oh, okay. So he's crucial in all this.
He is. But instead of just saying that, you know, let's really dig into what he brought to her life.
Yeah, let's do that.
What did this mentorship offer that she was clearly missing?
Well, I think he provided the support and encouragement that she wasn't getting at home at all. He was the first adult who truly recognized her potential and nurtured her academic pursuits. He became this positive male influence in her life, guiding her towards a brighter future.
It sounds like he really helped her believe in herself again.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it because the sources describe how, with his encouragement, she starts to open up.
Yeah.
He makes a few close friends,
Mm-hmm.
and her confidence, it just starts to grow.
It's almost like she's starting to heal from all that pain that Aunt Mary inflicted.
Yeah, exactly. And that's key, right?
It is.
It's not just about academics with him. It's about her whole self-esteem.
Right.
He's helping her rebuild her sense of worth.
Exactly. And that sets the stage,
Awesome.
for her to take control of her life, to create a future for herself, a future that's free from all that negativity and abuse.
That's amazing. I mean, it really shows you how important a mentor can be.
It does. This is where we really see, the transformative power of mentorship,
Okay.
how just one person can make such a difference.
Absolutely.
And we're not done yet because Cha-Cha's journey is just beginning.
So we left off with Cha-Cha finding that support in Mr. Edwards.
Right. She's still living with Aunt Mary, but her focus has totally shifted.
Yeah, she's laser focused on school now, and with his guidance,
Mm.
a brighter future seems possible.
It's interesting how the sources describe this period. It's not just about escaping the bad situation.
Right.
It's about actively building something new.
Yeah, like she's taking control,
Exactly. And education becomes her bridge to freedom.
and she crosses that bridge big time. She
Right.
graduates high school,
Mm-hmm.
earns a scholarship to a prestigious university.
It's a big deal. I mean, this isn't just about going to university. It's
Right.
about escaping Aunt Mary's house and everything it represents.
Like a clean break, a fresh start.
Exactly. The sources are really clear about this.
Yeah.
This move signifies freedom
Freedom from all that
from
negativity.
the constant criticism, the emotional abuse that weighed her down for years.
And finally, she's in an environment where her intelligence is celebrated.
Right, not mocked.
Surrounded by people who support her, encourage her.
This idea of finding your tribe, your chosen family,
Yeah.
it's powerful. How is that reflected in her experiences at university?
That's a good question. What did the sources say about that?
Well, they describe her university years as this period of incredible growth and transformation.
Okay.
She thrives academically, she forms strong friendships.
She's really coming into her own.
Exactly. And it's not just about academic success,
Right.
it's about personal development.
Oh.
She builds confidence, she learns to trust herself,
Uh-huh.
and she creates this network of support that fills the void left by her family.
It sounds like university provided that sense of belonging that she was missing.
I think so. It allowed her to heal and grow, to really let go of the past and embrace the future.
So it's interesting, right? This idea of finding your chosen family
Yeah.
versus relying solely on biological ties.
What do the sources say about that?
Yeah, like how does that play into her healing?
Yeah, like how does that play into her healing?
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
The sources suggest that forming these strong bonds, it was essential to her healing process.
Okay.
They provided the love and acceptance that she didn't receive from Aunt Mary's family.
Right, so she's redefining what family means. Exactly, and she's creating a support system based on genuine connection and shared values.
Like she's reclaiming that sense of belonging that was shattered earlier.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. It's a real testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
It really is. I mean, despite all that trauma, she not only survives,
Right.
she thrives.
She does.
She builds a successful career, finds love,
Mm-hmm.
seems to achieve genuine fulfillment. It's like she's come full circle, finding a new sense of family, creating a life filled with joy and purpose.
Her story really underscores the importance of resilience and self-belief,
Yeah,
even in the face of unimaginable hardship.
absolutely.
But what I find particularly inspiring is the transformative power of education.
Oh, yeah. How so?
It's more than just acquiring knowledge.
Right.
It's about opening doors to new possibilities,
Mhm.
empowering individuals to create their own destinies. What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree. Education provided Chacha with the tools and the opportunities she needed to break free from her past and build a better future. It's a reminder that education can be a powerful force for positive change,
Yeah.
not just in individual lives, but in society as a whole.
Right.
It's about empowering people to reach their full potential
Exactly.
and contribute to the world in meaningful ways.
In Cha-Cha's story, it just illustrates that so beautifully.
It really does.
It's like education gave her the key, to unlock her potential and escape the confines of her circumstances.
I like that analogy.
And while we've explored Cha-Cha's journey in great detail, I think it's time to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and explore what her story means for us.
For our own lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways that we can apply to our own experiences?
That's crucial. I mean, we've seen the power of resilience, mentorship, education in shaping her life.
Right.
But how do we connect those themes to our own journeys?
Exactly. So if we were to look back on our own lives,
Hmm.
what were the turning points that set us on new paths?
What challenges did we overcome?
What support systems helped us along the way?
These are great questions.
These are the questions we're going to be exploring as we continue our deep dive into Cha-Cha's inspiring story. You know, it's incredible when you think about it.
What is?
How a single moment like Cha-Cha, seeing those kids in the park,
Right.
can completely change the direction of her life.
Yeah.
It wasn't this big dramatic event,
No.
but it just sparked something in her, this desire for something more.
It makes you think about the turning points in our own lives, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
What stands out to you when you look back on your journey?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I think about a time when I was feeling really lost, uncertain about my future.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with a mentor
Okay.
who really challenged me to step outside my comfort zone
Uh-huh.
and pursue a path that I'd always been afraid of.
Oh, wow.
It was a scary leap,
I bet.
but that conversation, it was a turning point.
It led you to where you are today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about you? When you think about your own turning points, what comes to mind?
I think for me, there was this time when I was feeling really down.
Okay.
Like I had just faced this major setback,
Uh-huh.
and I honestly felt like a complete failure.
Oh, wow.
I was ready to give up on my dreams,
Really?
but I had this close friend who reminded me of my strengths and encouraged me to keep going.
That's what friends are for.
It is, and that conversation,
Yeah.
helped me reframe my perspective and find that resilience to keep pushing forward.
It's amazing how those conversations, those moments of connection
Right.
can have such a lasting impact.
They really can. It makes me think about, the importance of just being present, attentive to the people around us.
Absolutely.
You never know when a simple conversation or a gesture of support
Right.
might be someone's turning point.
You can be that person for someone.
Exactly. And it highlights how interconnected our lives really are.
It does. We all have the potential to make a difference.
Yeah.
Whether it's through mentorship or friendship or just offering a listening ear.
It's a good reminder that we're not alone in our journeys.
Not at all. So Cha-Cha's story, it's a testament to the human spirit.
It really is.
You know, this ability to overcome adversity and create a meaningful life.
A story of resilience, self-discovery, and the transformative power of education and human connection.
And it leaves us with a pretty profound question to ponder.
What's that?
What will be the turning points that shape the next chapter of our own stories?
That's a question we should all be asking ourselves. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Cha-Cha's inspiring life.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope her story empowers you to embrace your own journey. Seek out support when you need it, and believe in your own potential to create a life filled with purpose and joy.
Couldn't have said it better myself.